We're back. Welcome to Promise Christian Live. Perfection? You and I never will achieve it. God does not expect us to be perfect, but He demands we want to be. And to the degree we fall short, Jesus picks up that shortfall. To help you along the path that God does demand, our guest today may have some pearls of wisdom. Our host is Dr. Mike McKinney, president of Promise Christian University, and he can't wait to introduce our guest. Who is it today, Mike?
Well, hello, Dudley. Thank you very much. I appreciate being on with our guest today, and I want to thank our viewing audience again today. We appreciate so much, Dudley and I and David, bringing these telecasts to you each week, now seen several times during the week, and we're very honored for that. And our prayer and our hope is that something that's said by our guests or by us here in studio will really reach out from the studio into your home and into your heart. And we just, our goal is to just minister to you so much. And so we appreciate all of you viewing it today. And our special guest today is Stan Snyder. Stan, it's just a delight to have you on the program today.
Very nice to be here, I can assure you.
My goodness, I've looked forward so much to having you on the program.
Mm-hmm.
And our wonderful friend Dudley Golf, who is our producer,
Right.
is the one that introduced us.
Exactly.
And I can say now, Stan, there was an immediate rapport.
I believe so too, Mike.
And we're just delighted to have you on today.
I felt exactly the same way when we had the opportunity to meet for that first time. You and your lovely wife, Adele, are just really, really special people.
Thank you
That I
so
can tell
much.
you.
You're very kind to say that.
Mhm.
Well, we want to know a little bit about Stan today.
Okay.
How you came into
Mhm.
working for the Lord and some of your background.
Sure.
And so tell us a little bit about
Mike,
that.
I came to the Lord in 1995. I was at a very, very low point in my life that I knew I had to turn to something. I was going through a very, very difficult divorce. My two kids were estranged from me at the time, and got on my knees, went up to that altar,
Right.
took the prayer, and gave my life to the Lord,
Wonderful.
and just blessing after blessing after blessing has fallen to my life as a result of that. About 2-3 years after that, I met and married my wife Alexis of today, and
Yes.
we just have a lot of things going. We're on fire for the Lord. We're doing some very interesting things. Our vision right now, and we've already launched it, is our stream 24/7 streaming media channel
Oh, yes,
on
tell
the
us
internet
about
as
that.
livefaithtv.com.
Okay.
And we already have several ministries that have come on board with us, including Shiloh Tabernacle, who I know you're familiar with.
Yes.
Brother Eddie, Raven and Dudley Goff's ministry, and of course Promise Christian University, and there's a host of others as well. But we're very, very excited about it. We feel that the work is being totally blessed by the Lord. It is, there's a lot that goes onto it behind the scenes,
I can imagine, sure.
but we're picking up additional viewers, additional users, and additional subscribers all the time, and it's just exciting to see that happen.
And I understand that it's sort of a result of the 9/11. Is that
11/11/11.
Or 11/11.
The event at the Rose Bowl, Line in the Sand, 11/11/11,
yes.
is what brought this whole nucleus of people together, including Dudley Goff and David Perez, and I know you were there, and David Andrade. So I think it was the catalyst, if you will, that really, really put the fuel behind us going out and getting the domain and then starting to build the website of livefaithtv.com.
I think that day really encouraged a lot of folks.
I believe so too.
To do even more for the ministry and more for the Lord that day. And that was a great day for Pasadena, seeing thousands of people
Absolutely.
coming to the Rose Bowl so on fire, so excited. And to know that this helped to launch some of these latest ministries on media.
Yes. Well, we were responsible. We didn't even know at the last minute what our undertaking was going to be with Dave's team over there, David Andrade's team over there.
Yes.
But at the last minute, we were handed to do the whole live shoot, the whole live production, which was shot with a total of 3 cameras, and it turned out very, very well. It was streamed all over the world. We streamed the event all over the world. And I think at one time the peak number of viewers that we had on at any one time was about 1,100, with a fairly consistent 400 to 500 people that were watching the event on the internet. So
that's great.
That's
for
what really
a new thing like that. That's very good.
And
that's very successful.
And like I said, it came together at the last moment. So so God was good.
The Lord knew, didn't
yes,
he? He
yes,
knew what was
yes,
going to
yes,
happen.
Yes, he did.
Wow. Now, what is your vision for the future for this new TV programming and broadcasting company, network, as we say
Sure.
today? What are some of the things the Lord's putting in your heart for the future?
Well, you have so many of these groups, such as Shiloh Tabernacle, that are producing so much content.
Oh, yeah.
But they only have a limited number of places that they can air it. Now, their program is seen on satellite.
Oh, yes.
On the Dish Network. It is seen in 3 or 4 local stations around. There's actually on the Las Vegas station as well, which is, of course is where I'm from.
Yes.
But you want to have more a deeper reach than that. We see LiveFaithTV.com as the vehicle that will be able to have that both archive content as well as live content streamed live 24/7 and be seen anywhere anywhere in the world.
So actually, what we're talking about is a new TV network for the Lord,
Right.
that will actually be not only nationwide,
Right.
but worldwide,
Right, exactly.
global ministry.
Exactly.
Imagine the influence for the Lord that's going to be.
Well, I believe we're picking up additional viewers all the time. Additional users are subscribing to us all the time, going to our Facebook, going to our social media that is very much closely aligned with what we're doing. And we see new people coming on from all over the world, and it's very, very exciting.
Amazing,
to see.
isn't it
Yeah,
exciting?
It is.
Wow! And I understand you have a very beautiful studio there in your hometown.
We do.
Las Vegas.
We
and
do.
Very professional, the latest equipment and all that.
Well, this is, of course, the outgrowth of my primary business, which is a capital supply company to the film and television industry. We have
Tell us a little bit about
Sure.
that.
That's
too.
Image West. Image West is the name of the company. We're based over in Las Vegas. We actually started in Orange County about 9 years ago, and then subsequently moved to Las Vegas because we needed additional space. We were outgrowing space, and very honestly, it was less expensive to be in Las Vegas, and we were able to hire some very, very good people. But the long and the short of it is that the company grew from really a backroom business to doing over $2-3 million a year in sales.
Praise
and
God.
Praise God indeed.
Yeah.
And he has blessed that work, but he has put it on both my wife and even our employees' hearts that we need to turn that now to doing the work of the Lord. Now, we
Yes.
believe that LiveFaithTV.com will be that. So
That will be the source of doing that, won't it?
we
The
drew
way
our
of doing it.
foundation, we
Yeah.
got our people, we got our personnel resources. It's given everybody a real good education in what this is all about. Now we're ready to take that and put this into the work of the Lord.
This is very exciting, and I know that when you met Brother Eddie Villanueva with Jesus is Lord Church, one of the largest churches in the world
Absolutely.
today, he was very impressed with your vision that God gave you folks for this new broadcasting company. I know that he was quite excited too about it.
Well, to the point of he actually altered his schedule a little bit and stayed an extra day. We met him in Las Vegas and spent probably the better part of an afternoon with him
Wow.
to really discuss the finer points of how we're going to do this thing and how we're going to put it together.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And he has just
Stan.
begun to supply us with content that we'll be bringing online for his ministry as well.
Oh my! Well,
seems-
it's amazing, isn't it?
Well, it seems as though everybody that we talk to is very excited
Oh,
about it
yeah.
and wants to dig in and wants to participate in how we can help. And the immediate thing that we need right now is we need content. We need to get the content
Right.
loaded, get it properly distributed, have a running schedule so that users can come onto the system and know what will be on at a specific time. And we have a couple of people working on that right now. But, of course, we celebrate the Passover, and
Oh,
the Passover,
of
of course, brings on a new year for us. So shortly after the Passover, I believe God is going to give us the resources and the personnel to really thrust this thing to the next
He will,
level.
Stan, you know. And we certainly are glad to be on there with you on that program. And we're honored for Promise Christian. And someday, you know, we'd like to have a school of media at Promise. And we hope that we can connect with you on that in the near future.
We'd love to share with you any ideas that we have. I know
Good.
we've had a little opportunity
Yeah.
when we last met to do that. Hopefully this afternoon we can further that discussion
Oh, that'll be
a
great.
little bit. But I believe truly that media and ministry are going to be synonymous one to
Yes.
another.
Yes.
You need to reach people, like I've said, that you need to reach people where they're at. You need to
Yes.
come forth and invite them in, and media is clearly the way to be able to do that. And now, with the advent of so many new technologies, the cost of the technology now being within the reach of most anybody
Sure.
who's willing to make a commitment to it, that I think it's something that would be very, very easy for Promise Christian to be able to do. And I would just be honored to have the opportunity to work with you or
Thank you.
your staff in any way that we possibly can to
Well,
make that dream a reality for you, Mike.
Thank you, Stan. I really appreciate that. This is a first on the show, folks. I'm honored. I'm thrilled and overwhelmed. But thank you so much for that. And so tell us a little bit about your background. Did you have a media background prior to coming into working for the Lord and this type of thing?
I have been around this technology since childhood.
Okay.
My parents were retailers in the greater Los Angeles marketplace, and as a result of that, we were always doing television commercials, and just television was a part of our lives. So as part of that, I was bit by the bug at a very, very early age,
Yes.
and started to grow into it, and as I could, I'd buy this device or that camera or this, and start to wire it all up and make it work. And then, as I grew up, I did take some formal classes on the topic, but they were more like trade classes and things like that. This is a self-taught. This is really you can take the classes, but really the key thing to being able to do this in my heart is you have to have a passion for it. Number one,
definitely,
you have to have a little bit of knowledge, and then you have to you learn how to take good pictures by taking a lot of pictures. That's just, you have an eye for it, so you have to be in it and be working with it every day.
Well, Stan, I would say that to me, you're a natural. The Lord just has gifted you in this area.
Mike, I appreciate that.
It's just there. You can. I mean, I can see it. All right. No.
Some days I have my doubts, to be honest with you.
Oh no, I'm not doubting it. I believe.
But I think that the Lord is moving this. The Lord is definitely moving the effort forward, and we certainly thank Him and give Him praise and honor for that.
And you said something very interesting a moment ago, that the new media today, the internet, is giving most everyone that has a desire this opportunity. Would you expound on that a little bit? Because this is really cutting edge, what you're saying here today. It's fantastic.
I mean, even as basic as putting something together, having the Lord touch your heart, and doing a simple Bible study where a couple of people sit down, have one camera on, and doing a simple Bible study, and then posting that to YouTube, you'll immediately start getting hits. I mean, so theoretically, this afternoon, a person can go out and decide, I'm going to do a television ministry, and it is within the realm of possibility with a camera and a microphone to be able to do that by simply posting that on YouTube. Now, there's hundreds of other YouTube opportunities and things like that. There's Vimeo. You can have your own website, and this is how you see so many of these young budding ministries growing by leaps and bounds. And I'll offer Shiloh Tabernacle, our good friends, the Hillarys, Pastor Hillary, about what they're doing right now. So it's just, they're knee deep in it. And anywhere you go with them, as you might know that they went back to Colorado with my wife. Wherever they go, that camera's rolling. So
that's amazing.
This is what it is.
Isn't that great? There's such a powerful medium and reaching so many millions of lives across the world. Now it actually is touching the world. It's just amazing. And the Lord has given us that gift, for this opportunity for the 21st century. And I know that God is raising up people for the marketplace and for leadership, even in the area of the media. And I'm glad that He's raising up folks like yourself that have this vision, you and your wife, this Live Faith TV, and it really is a vision from the Lord. It really is.
I know that beyond any shadow of a doubt. Right.
Wonderful. So now, in the near future, what would you like to do as far as the expansion of your particular ministry and the real goal that God has given you as a minister, as a person of God? What is the thing you're feeling?
Well, we certainly were honored to have the ability to be able to do the live streaming at the 11-11-11 event. I see a lot more of that in our future. We've actually built out a full production vehicle, a mobile production vehicle that will be allowed to be taken anywhere, and just we roll on site, and it's a quick deploy. It's the ability to be able to very, very quickly set up and do live events such as that. And I see a lot more of that. I think that's a key thing. That will draw a lot of new users to livefaithtv.com by being able to do those events. And we have a couple of events scheduled for later, where we're talking about a couple of events for later on this year. So it's growing. And I think Promise Christian University is well, your timing could not be better to really try to incorporate a media program into what you're doing, just based upon everything I see going on out there.
Well, yes, and we're looking forward to that. We have such a desire to do that, and I believe that when that takes place, God will also send the right people to teach the courses and train the young folks that are doing. We have a young lady from our churches in New York right now, New York City, going to college there, King's College of New York, which is an old school. It's an old Christian college, because they have a certain media department that she found that she liked, that would fit into what she wants to do. And someday she'd like to come back after graduation and work with Promise once we have our media department going. You know? So I can see already that God is leading, and our connect together, I think some great things can take place. We're actually training leadership for the Lord in the 21st century. All of us here today. I really believe that.
I believe so too.
And to have someone like yourself that's so well versed in the media, understanding the power of TV, the power of the screen, how it can really change and alter lives. You know.
And one of the things that we were very, very careful about when we do events and when we do streaming at different churches that we do and synagogues that we do, is we always invite the young people to be a part of it, because the young people are truly where the future are.
That's right.
So I try to really take the time to, if somebody shows an interest, I'll let them work camera, I'll let them switch the show, I'll let them do audio, I'll let them do whatever their gift seems to appear to be, because we need to start grooming people for that, for the backside of the camera. Of course, the front of the camera is a very important thing. Having good ministers, having good worship teams are very, very important. But that can only be supplemented by a good team that's working in the technical side.
Just like we have here at Channel 32 with our team, and then the group that's actually in charge of the station. I've just been doing a super job, not only with our show but other shows, and I understand even the mayor of the city has a program on this station. So they're just doing a fabulous job. And like you said, we in the front, we can really appreciate what those behind the scenes are doing to make all of this really happen.
And it's done with an amazingly short crew. It's not a big, expensive production that's being done. Everybody does like doubles and rolls. And by doing that, by doing 2 or 3 things, you keep the cost of these productions down to where you can do them very efficiently. And that's the key. Efficiency in the new media, I can tell you, efficiency is key. So in addition to being able to buy resources such as good cameras and good technology that will do the job for you at very reasonable prices now compared to a decade ago, equally important is that people will have to share different roles to be able to wear more than one hat, so to speak.
Well, I think it's wonderful, really, as producer Stan and a person that's in charge of now this TV network, that you're willing to train young people, willing to pull them aside and give them an opportunity if they're interested in this type of profession to really get into it. And I think that's very commendable of you.
Well, one of the biggest problems when somebody graduates from one of the schools, and there's several very, very good media schools out there, I won't bother to mention any names, but one of the immediate problems that the kids have when they graduate is they need that practical experience, that bridge between, hey, I've got the knowledge, but now I've got to really see how this works in the trenches. And we actually have an internship at Image West where we have a couple of interns right now that are working on livefaithtv.com.
Wonderful.
That we're growing them to a point where either they'll stay with us on a paid basis. That's what I'm hoping, that we'll have the resources to do that. But if they move on, at least they'll have the practical experience of working in the trenches and not just in the classroom environment.
Boy, if I was a few years younger, I might want to do that myself.
Well, we'd love to have you. There's no question about that, Mike. You and your wife, Adele, are very, very special to us. I think you know that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. What an opportunity for the young folks viewing today that someone like Stan Snyder, a professional in the business, be willing to train. I think this is fantastic, you know. And like you said, this is going, we don't even know how far-reaching this is all going to be. I don't think we even have an idea.
My feeling is that we've only scratched the surface. I see all content delivery in the not-too-distant future being delivered via the Internet. So what'll happen with cable, what'll happen with satellite will be interesting to see. I think there's always be a place for it, just like there's a place for radio. Let's never sell radio short. Radio is a very integral part. When we talk about media, let's not just talk about television. Radio is a very, very integral part of the mix, if you will.
Oh yes, so still very strong. There's a lot of wonderful ministers on radio every day and blessing millions of people around the world. And I think that's also, I agree with you, that's also very important part of the work of media and so forth. And are you interested in Christian film? I know that some of my friends are in Christian media are also talking about doing films. Do you have that idea of doing something like that?
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that, Mike. Our company, Image West, is both a film and television equipment company. So we sell all of the equipment to be either used for film, television or what we're doing here today, which is multi-camera environment. So yes, we serve that industry, but I have to be very honest with you and tell you one of the things that I've had a tendency to do in my life, as I'm sure you have, is to get spread a little too thin.
Oh, yeah.
I know the nature of the
Yes,
beast. I know who you are, and I think you know who I am. And
Oh,
we have
yeah.
a tendency to do that. We're
Yeah.
trying to stay very, very focused.
true.
We're trying to stay very focused right now, and I do have a couple of film opportunities that are on the plate. I will be happy to donate some equipment and help in that regard.
Wonderful.
But my time has to really, really be thrust into what we're doing with this major effort that we're looking at today.
Wow, this is so exciting about the future. We're seeing it right in front of us, and here God is
Yes,
placing
indeed.
it into the hands of God's people for this hour,
For this time.
And I think those that are viewing today should be challenged, if you're interested in media, to really pray about this, because wonderful people like Stan and others that are in the business are willing to teach and train and develop. I think this is fantastic. What an opportunity that would come about it for a young person viewing here today that has a talent and ability, and is kind of directed toward media anyway. Like you said, you get the bug bites you.
It does.
It really
It
gets
does.
to you.
Yes, it does. And it's a good bug.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
This is a very, very good bug. This is a bug that can only grow your life, not only from a spiritual standpoint, but certainly career opportunities
Right.
that are available in the world at large.
Right.
And I'm available anytime. I'm delighted to talk with anybody or correspond with
Oh,
anybody.
wonderful.
Probably the best way to get a hold of me is to Stan, my name, at livefaithtv.com.
Okay.
And I'm very, very responsive to emails and would be delighted to help anybody.
Oh,
in
what a
that
great
regard.
what a great thing! Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that, and that's very exciting. And I'm also excited about the fact too. You mentioned that you're going to be in the near future covering more large events
Yes.
like the 11/11, which was
Yes.
very successful.
Yes,
you know?
it was.
And that's exciting. You're willing to do that. Go out there and on the field, shall we say, and do all this sort of thing.
And the reality of it is there's very seldom any budget for it. You know,
Yeah.
these things are put together, you know, pretty much
Oh,
on
yeah.
a shoestring, as we all
Right,
know.
sure.
The Lord puts it upon the producer's heart to do it,
Yeah.
and they just get out there and somehow they make it happen. So there's not big budget to bring the video in.
Right.
We bring the video in for one reason only. We want to serve the Lord,
Yes.
but it serves as a wonderful vehicle for us to have live streaming content, which in turn will bring additional users to our website, or as you say, our networks.
Oh, isn't that
So
that's great.
It's like one hand washing the other.
That's
and it's
right, exactly.
And it's all for the work of God.
My, well, that's going to be a great opportunity for people to have your crew down there filming these things, and then it could be broadcast later. Of course,
Yes,
you say, and so many millions of lives could be touched as a result of seeing, hearing what God is doing in this day. And we know that God moves in cycles,
Yes,
and
He does.
His timing is perfect. So we're just, I think you folks like yourself are very sensitive to God's cycles and timings.
Yes.
And it's time for the media to come
Yes.
to the front with God's people.
Well,
isn't that great?
all I can tell you is that in my life, when doors start to close in front of me, that's probably a pretty good indication that
Yeah.
I'm not moving in the right direction.
Right.
When doors are opening, and it's all based upon
It's
what we
all-
read in
all
here,
there. It's all there.
that's a pretty good indication that God is moving and He's blessing the work. And I can tell you the doors are flying open as we speak.
Well,
And
you certainly are following the direction of the Holy Spirit today, Stan. And we appreciate people like you and your heart for the Lord and your professionalism being brought to the forefront for the work of God in this end time hour, as we say.
Yes,
And
it is.
So I'm honored to know you. I tell you what, and have you as a friend.
Mike, likewise, I
Thank
can
you.
assure you, when we
Appreciate
want to
that.
be involved with anything that
Thank
you
you,
guys are
Stan.
doing,
Wow.
I'm but a phone call away.
Thank you. Well, today you can see we've had a wonderful guest, Stan Snyder, and we're so delighted that he came. And I know that your hearts are excited. Mine is today of the potential, what God is doing in this end time hour with the media, with God's people, the Lord's bringing to the forefront as a witness and testimony for Himself. And we appreciate that for all that God is doing. You know, Dudley, again, we've had a marvelous time with Stan. He's just a great guy, isn't he?
You bet he is, Mike. Thanks so much
Yes.
for having us staying on the show. Really appreciate it. I gained a lot from
Oh,
it, Mike.
yes.
You bet.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. We've lost the the teleprompting. Here it is now. Thank you very much. I hope they did the same for you, what we learned from our guest Stan, and that you really gained something from it. And I want to remind you, it's a reminder that if you know someone that would be interested in Promise Christian University, to contact them. And you can do so with phoning 1-888-723-6233, or to send an email. That's a way to reach Promise Christian University, and that address is mypcu@aol.com. So until next week, may the good Lord shower you with many blessings without number.